Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we are going to be going over two teams suggested by legend ranked players Haydonis and Limo Online. I believe Limo Online, as of this recording, is like 52nd on the leaderboard. Super strong player from California, and Haydonis also another player from California, suggesting the team of Azation, Mewtwo, and Melmetal. Azation with Snarl, Close Combat, and Play Rough. Mewtwo with Psycho Cut, Psystrike, and Shadow Ball. And then Melmetal with Thundershock, Rock Slide, and Superpower. Limon Lime's team is Tokius with Charm, Ancient Power, and Flamethrower. And then Kyogre with Blizzard, Surf, and Waterfall. And then the Giratina is with Shadow Claw, Shadow Sneak, and Dragon Claw. So again, this is just a voiceover from my stream. Both these teams I did very well in, and I thought they were very strong. I could play out this matchup, and it's actually okay, but I'm actually going to just switch out right away because I do have two better answers, and I'm going to throw this Shadow Ball here. Normally against the Giratina Origin, I would actually throw straight Psystrike, but here the two Psystrikes actually doesn't KO. I'm actually going to let this go because I easily live Shadow Sneak. And then I'm going to go for the Psystrike here. And they actually end up no shielding here, which is pretty interesting. I think they no shielded because they realized that it was a CMP. So that actually worked out pretty okay for me. I'm going to throw it 7 here just to prevent some extra charms from going through. They're at 9 right now, I believe. So they should be 1 away from the Flamethrower. Yeah, they are. I'm going to actually shield this because the Flamethrower does do quite a bit of damage. And they actually come into Kyogre. And I'm actually in a okay spot here. I'm going to switch here. And I also think the reason why they didn't want to shield was because they didn't have a great answer to Zacian. And if I farm down and I had Wild Charge, then I would put them in a lot of trouble here. And I am going to go for... I was trying to... If I snuck in an extra Snarl there, I will definitely live this Surf. It just barely doesn't KO. And I'm going to get this Close Combat off. And then the next Waterfall will KO. And I'm in a very good spot here. And all I have to do is make sure that I don't throw into the Tokius. And now I'm just going to farm it down. And I should be in a very good spot here. I should probably double Superpower here. But then I end up just Rock Slide and then Superpower. But it doesn't really matter. I just need to land 2 moves and I should be good. So pretty straightforward first match there. Fortunately, winning the switch there was really nice there. But even if I didn't win the switch, then I would have snarled down and then be able to land 2 play roughs on the Tokius, and then Melmetal easily beats Kyogre up a shield. So as you can see, I'm just talking out there, and as well acknowledging my chat that someone pointed out that it was probably CMP with the Giratina, which makes sense because I did throw the 1 Snarl, and then they ended up switching out a little bit slower from the Tokius matchup than they probably would have otherwise, because it probably would have been an instant swap for them as soon as they saw that. So I'm gonna actually speed this up a little bit here. And there you go. Okay, so this is a good matchup here. So they actually end up just backing out there. I'm not entirely sure why. Maybe they're sick of Zacians, and who isn't? But I was obviously in a very favorable situation there. I have 2 Pokemons that easily beat the Dialga in the form of Zacian and Melmetal, and then Mewtwo actually wins the 1 Shield Trick Psystrike. So I was in a pretty comfortable spot seeing a Dialga lead. I'm gonna just fast forward this here. I didn't realize I had all these Q times here, but all right, Zacian into Lugia. This is okay. I'm gonna pretend I have Wild Charge, so I'm gonna go to double Close Combat and then throw the Play Rough. And I'm hoping that they throw the Sky Attack here, hoping that it's going to be Wild Charge. They actually end up shielding. They have enough. So here's the thing. They have enough for double Sky Attack, and they're 1 past the Aeroblast. So I'm not going to shield this. If it's Aeroblast, so be it. And they only throw 3 here, and I actually get an extra Snarl in. So I know this for sure is not Aeroblast. They're 1 short. And they must have snuck in a imaginary or invisible move there. Because when usually later on when I was counting, I thought they were 2 off. That's totally fine. And they're quite low now, so I am intending to Psycho Cut down. They actually come into Mewtwo, and Mewtwo down a shield when the other Mewtwo has a Shadow Ball is really fortunate for me here. So I get an extra Psycho Cut through here. So here's just like my lack of confidence in the game. I would almost never shield this. Almost never ever shield this, but I'm like so paranoid by all these invisible fast moves that I end up do shielding it just in case it's a Shadow Ball. I do farm up 4 more because I know they're dry. And I'm in a pretty good spot right now. And they come to Ho-Oh. I throw... Oh, they actually catch here onto the Lugia, but this is actually totally fine here. I'm going to switch. And I'm in a very good spot here. And they actually don't throw the Earthquake or the Desync there. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. They actually Brave Bird me, which is kind of weird to be honest. And they get to another Brave Bird. And I'm not entirely sure what they did there. But they did a very nice catch. I threw at a kind of poor time on the first one there. I thought I threw at 4, but I threw at 5. If I threw at 4, it would have been a much better scenario there. So unfortunately, they were not able to capitalize on my mistake, and they made a very nice catch there. I'm gonna speed through these queue times here. I didn't realize I had so much queue times looking back on it. So again, fortunate lead here. They actually come into, so I do have to stay here. And this is actually a much better matchup than the other Origin form. Sorry, if you guys could see my camera here, you'll see that my puppy is currently trying to climb up on top of me. And really wants me to play with her, but I cannot right now. I'm going to let this go. I feel pretty comfortable in this situation here. I have 2... I do expect it to be a Kyogre in the back, or some sort of harder anti-steel. So I do shield this, and I'm going to go for the Play Rough. And I believe, actually, I do let this go down. And I go into Mewtwo here, and they will make the move before me. I'm going to let this go because I feel pretty good in this situation. And they tried to catch there, but I was in a very good spot there. So I am going to wait for them to throw. I let this go. I was expecting this to be a Draco Meteor, but it ends up being an Iron Head. I guess they didn't want to debuff themselves. I throw the Superpower, and then what I like to do here is not throw right away. Again, I like to build up, just because they're relatively dry. And I throw the Superpower before they make it to another Iron Head. And then and I throw 4 here. A little bit risky here, but I wanted to make sure I got 2 Superpowers off. Just to put them in Side Strike range. I actually wanted to switch out there because they're already in Side Strike range, but I switch here and I'm almost at double Side Strike already. And they definitely don't have 2 moves here. They're at like 6 waterfalls. And they try to waterfall me down, which is the appropriate play instead of throwing. And so pretty nice matchup for me there. The Giratina say swap is pretty interesting there. I guess if they knew I didn't have Wild Charge, they would say switch into Kyogre, but then I would have went into Mewtwo, and Mewtwo does quite well against Kyogre. If it's a little bit behind in energy, then it becomes a little bit of a weird matchup. Okay, so this is where I want to see it. I try to go for the extra snarl here because a lot of times people like to desync there, but they just throw exactly at 7. They actually denied me because they lag by 1 turn. And I'm going to throw the play rough. If they don't shield, I'm going to let it go. But because they shield it, I do have to shield this because they're not quite in Psy Strike range. And they do throw the Omnis Wind. And they make a very nice play to catch it on Zacian. But that also is okay for me because now they are in Psy Strike range. And they let it go. They do have a decent amount of energy on Giratina, but this is okay. And I'm not sure why they didn't throw there. They definitely had the Omnis Wind, but maybe they just got there. And I'm gonna let this go. Omnis Wind wouldn't KO me, but they would be able to Shadow Claw me down. And they actually come into 0-0 here. And this is a tricky situation for me. I throw it 7, which is in the middle of the 3rd Incinerate. And they have enough for the EQ. So I do 2 more Psycho Cuts, then I throw the next one. And then I do 2 more, and then I have to catch the Brave Bird. The Brave Bird would be enough to take me out after all these Incinerates. So I catch it on Zacian, which is very fortunate for me. And then I can Thundershock this down, and the Giratina is low on energy, and I'm able to throw the Rock Slide to take it out. Okay, very nice. And that ends up being a 5-0 with that team. I made a few mistakes, especially playing against Ho-Oh, but we did secure the 5-0, so I'm actually just speed past this part. And the next team here is Tokius, Kyogre, and Giratina. So if you want a team with no Zacian, then or Dialga, then this is the team for you. I win this matchup in the 2 shield, but usually it results in them shielding once and they actually come into Kyogre. The not so great part about Giratina Altered versus Kyogre is that they actually win the 0 shield matchup because I'm not able to KO them before they reach a Blizzard, and the Blizzard is just barely enough to KO Giratina. I could take a chance that they're going to bait, but since I only have 1 shield, it's probably very unlikely that, or it probably wouldn't be worth it. So they make kind of an interesting play here. So I'm going to farm down. So I guess what they're worried about is that I'm going to take out their Dialga with these Dragon Claws, which would definitely add up a little bit. So they decide to take super effective damage instead of neutral. I throw this Dragon Claw here. And then I'm going to switch to Kyogre. And I'm in a very good spot here. I'm going to force them to Draco Meteor, or they have Thunder. I'm going to force them to Draco Meteor my Kyogre, which is going to debuff them. And then obviously I would just Shadow Claw down. And they actually decide not to throw there. They definitely had a move. And I'm going to throw the Surf. Or maybe they were not quite at the move because it's 8.5 seconds to get the move. And it's, well, they would have been close. But maybe they want to farm here, and they actually end up shielding the Surf here, which is fine. But obviously the Dragon Claw, I still have a Dragon Claw on Giratina because of the farm down from Kyogre, and I'm gonna throw the Dragon Claw here, and it's gonna put them very low. And they actually reached 2 Dragon Claws here, but unfortunately for them, we actually end up simul KOing. Because I just barely live and I get another Shadow Claw through. Not that these Shadow Claws really matter for anything because I still have like a relatively healthy Tokias here, and we actually end up fainting here, simul fainting here. And I do have Best Buddy on my Giratina altar there. I don't think it necessarily flips any matchups, but I think there's definitely some merit in. I think it's like if you Best Buddy Togekiss, then you actually win CMP against a non-Best Buddy Malmetal, which is one notable matchup. If you Best Buddy Kyogre, then you beat like a non-Best Buddy Groudon and non-Best Buddy Kyogre. So, okay. So, this is an okay matchup for me. I expect my Giratina altar to be... I expect my backline to be pretty good here. Normally, I would shield this Shadow Ball here because it does do quite a bit of damage. But I throw the Ancient Power. And unless they have the move there, which they definitely don't, I do farm down here, and this is very tricky here. I do quite a bit of damage. And I'm gonna have to shield here, but I did do quite a bit of charm damage already. So these Dragon Claws are definitely adding up. And I'm over farming just a little bit there just to throw off their counts. And I decided to let this go. Like, there's no point in they actually end up having Kyogre here, and then they have Thunder. So this was going to be a pretty tough matchup regardless. So Kyogre with Thunder is like really bad for this team because it beats the lead and beats my version of the Kyogre, and they're going to be able to farm me down. So tough situation there. The double dragons are especially with Dialga in the back. If it was like Dialga in the front, and then Origin in the back, then that's like playable because Altered has like an okay matchup against it. It's like a little bit bait dependent. So I'm gonna fast forward this here. All right. And we're going to have Landorus here. This is a very tricky situation here. So I lag at the beginning, so I try to do 4 charms and try to catch the move. They end up throwing the move at me anyways, which is fortunate for me. And they're building up here. And then I throw the Dragon Claw. So I do farm a little bit against the Mud Shots, which is really nice. They definitely don't have a Stone Edge yet on Landorus. They're probably 3 away. I think it's 7 for the 7 for the first one, and I forget the counts there. And then 6 for the subsequent ones. Yeah, I think that's it. Because you have to go 63. Because when you do 6, Mud Shots is 54 energy and Stone Edge is 55. So unfortunately, I'm enough to charm down there. And I'm gonna throw this flamethrower, which will... Landorus is very squishy. No, at least not the bulkiest Pokemon. So this flamethrower, they would probably just barely live this flamethrower, but the next charm would KO them. And I'm in a pretty good spot here. I do expect them to have Wild Charge, and very fortunate I get the move through there because they're not quite at double yet. Or I throw the Surf there. And I'm going to be able to land the next Surf. And this puts me in a very good spot here. I would have been in a decent spot regardless. Because if they Wild Charge, then I would definitely charm them down before they make it to another move. And I would still be able to maintain the shield. I'm going to shield this because I get the Waterfall through. They threw after two Mud Shots there, so I was going to get one through regardless. And it's not really getting one through. It's like completing the waterfall because they throw at the very beginning of the animation, or 1 turn into the 3 turn animation. Okay, and then this team obviously Dialga in the back is always tricky. All right, and then this is a very, very weird matchup here. I'm not entirely sure what happened here. So they actually bait me here. Obviously, they've watched less of my battles. I normally shield this for first one. I throw the Ancient Power. And I tried, I shouldn't. I should have stayed here because the next charm would have KO'd. And they wouldn't have been able to get the move off. I'm going to shield this, though. And I'm not entirely sure what they did here. They're 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So I throw the Shadow Sneak. And then I count to 4. So this is the finesse of Giratina Altered, is because it's so tanky. You just keep over farming, and then you can kind of throw off your opponent's counts there. I'm not entirely sure what they were doing there, because they definitely had the Aeroblast already. They decided to no shield that, and then they decided to leave the matchup. I'm not, as you can see in my face, I'm like really confused at what happened there. I'm pretty familiar with that name though. They're usually a pretty strong battler, so maybe they lagged there. The charge move didn't come up. I'm not entirely sure there. Unfortunate if they did lag. So, all right, we're gonna have Tokus into the Tokus. So they do see desync here, which really sucks for them. So I'm gonna throw the Ancient Power first, and then regardless, I'm gonna switch here and take the Ancient Power, because I do expect this to be the double dragon team. I featured this team before. They actually end up throwing the Ancient Power here, which is really fortunate for me. I do expect this to be 2 dragons, and it ends up being Garchomp, as predicted. So I do expect it to be an Giratina Origin or Giratina Altered in the back. And I'm going to throw the Dragon Claw. And I'm just going to keep hurling Dragon Claws at them. And they're going to be able to farm me down. And I really debate whether to shield this or not. Because I don't want to get hit by Sand Tomb. They end up Earth Powering me, which actually does a pretty healthy amount. And they come into Altered here. Normally it's Origin, but Altered makes sense as well. I only shield this just because I have the Ancient Power, and the chip damage is really nice here. Gonna help me like farm down, but I could also let that go because I think the Waterfall plus Surf would have been enough. I do get 2 charms through, which is really nice here, and I let this guy shield once. They have 2 moves here, so I get another Waterfall through. I actually got a big refund there because I actually did click the charge move, and that was very fortunate for me. And actually come into Tokus here, and now all I have to do is wait to see if it's Origin or Garchomp. So I'm looking at the top right hand corner, and it ends up being the Garchomp, and I just need to throw here, and then I should be able to Waterfall down this Giratina before any damage applies. So I believe that's the last battle in the set. So I ended up going 5-0 with the first team, 4-1 with the second team. So I thought these were pretty strong team composition. Thank you very much, Heydonis and Limo Online for sending me these battles, or sending me these teams, or suggesting these teams, I should say. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see everyone in the next video.